Have you ever finished a survey or offer on Freecash, but then nothing shows up in your balance? Then you're not alone. Freecash tracking issues is something I often get questions about. So today I'll break down exactly why this happens and more importantly, how you can fix it. And make sure you stick with me to the end because I'll share a simple trick that can massively increase your chances of getting missing rewards approved. And most people get this part wrong. In case you don't know, my name is Mikael and I have tested hundreds of different ways to make money online, including a lot of free get paid to sites. And Freecash is one of the best get paid to sites out there. I have used it for years and I know it pays. I also have a full tutorial where I show payment proof. I'll leave a link in the top corner there and also to a full written review below so you can go and see all the payment proof, exactly how it works. But just like on any other get paid to site, tracking issues can happen and it can be very frustrating when you spend your time on an offer and then don't get rewarded. So in this video here, I'll go over the main reasons offers and surveys don't credit, what you can do to improve your tracking, and what steps to take if it still doesn't work. By the end, you'll know exactly how to avoid most tracking problems and how to handle the ones you can't prevent. So let's now go over the different issues you might encounter. And the first one is ad blockers. Because if you have an ad blocker installed on your computer or phone, wherever you're using Freecash, it can't track what you are doing. So you need to make sure to turn off ad blockers when you are using Freecash. So that's definitely one of the very first things you need to double check. Secondly, a big mistake some people often make is that they do not allow tracking or cookies. You often get these pop-ups when you come to websites, for example, and you just don't accept them. Or maybe you clear your cookies in the middle of an offer, and this actually really interrupts and disturbs the opportunity to track what you're doing. And this is something you need to be aware of whether you are using a computer or iOS or Android. And some people don't think about that. They just say no, or they clear the cookies or something like that, and that can really mess it up and be one of the big reasons that you might not get paid for the offers or service you complete. Third one is a big one, and that is the use of VPNs. Often these are used to fake the country on a site like Freecash. They see a lot of fraud from people that want access, for example, to US offers, even if they're not located in the US. They are aware of this. Of course, they do not allow it. They track it. They have strict control. If you use VPN to complete offers, you will not get paid. So then all these other things does not matter because you have broken the terms, you have committed fraud, and then you will not get paid. So I just wanted to include that because that's also very important to understand. The fourth thing you need to make sure to do is to follow the instructions exactly, because for each paid offer, for example, it says exactly what you need to do. Sometimes people might install the app and think they will just get the reward right away, but if you then read that you need, for example, to start using it before you get the install reward, or you need to reach certain levels, and this is just a small example, but for every offer, and not just gaming offer, but there can be all kind of offers within a certain time period, you need to do this, you need to do that. Sometimes you need to deposit if it's a paid offer for certain specific websites or sign up for a free trial. Follow the instructions exactly. Often people, I just see like, oh, I did this, but I didn't get paid. And then when you ask a little bit more, it's actually because there's some very clear instructions that just didn't read properly. So make sure to do that. The fifth tip is to use Chrome. Freecash itself actually reports the fewest tracking issues on Google Chrome. So that's one thing to consider. If you have that option, then that can help decrease the risk of these different tracking issues. And of course, then you need to accept cookies when you ask for it and disable ad blockers or private extensions for the session where you're earning on Freecash. The sixth thing you need to consider is to use one device and one fresh install. And what do I mean about that? Well, that means that you need to complete the entire offer on the same device you started it with. Don't start switching your phones or tablets in the middle of the process. And only do these app and game offers you have never installed before, because previously installs, they often cannot track and you will not get rewarded because the companies behind are of course not interested in paying you several times for trying the same game or signing up for the same free trial or something like that. So also keep that in mind. The seventh tip is to watch the time limit, because on most offers there is a deadline. So that means you need to do a certain thing within a certain deadline. If no deadline is shown, then just assume it's up to 30 days to complete it. But for most offers you can can read it in the description exactly how long you have to complete it. The 8th tip is to be a bit patient, because what many people are not aware is that it can actually take up to 72 hours for rewards to post while data flows between the different partners, for example between Freecash and the partner where the offer comes from. And often I see people say like, oh, I just did this but nothing is showing up. So the first thing is to then be a little bit patient if you of course have checked all these other things we talked about with ad blockers, all these other things. The 9th tip is to not complete too much of an offer before confirming that it actually tracks. I have a video also where I show more about this process, where I double check that everything is actually tracked, where I show that I earned $72 for a specific offer on Freecash. I'll leave a link in the top corner there where I show more about this. But what I mean is that I sometimes see people saying like, oh, I spent 5 hours playing this game and now it hasn't tracked. And that's why I'm saying that make sure you don't spend 5 hours before you confirm that it actually is tracking properly. So I usually try a little bit, make sure it tracks before spending more time. That's something that I also recommend that you do. But even with all this, then sometimes you might still not get credited, and then you need to reach out to the support. But make sure to check everything I mentioned here first. And then also be aware that support is not just support. You need to contact the right support for the right offers and the right way. So let's go over that next. So one of the biggest mistakes that I've seen people make when an offer doesn't credit on Freecash is how they handle support. Or to be more precise, how they handle to contact the support. Because a lot of people, either they just give up completely or write angry messages saying they got scammed. And that almost never helps. So instead, here's what you should do. First of all, make sure you're contacting the right support, because for some offers you need to reach out directly to the offer wall support and not Freecash itself. Freecash actually even has a guide on this that explains the step. You can see, for example, that for some partners, then this is a process you need to go through. For their own offers, this is a process, and this is the support you then need to contact. So this is very important, first of all, to be aware of. One thing you also need to be aware of is that, I know this is probably hard to accept, it definitely is for me, but you just need to be aware of it. For example, if you contact one of the partner supports, that it says that it can take up to 35 days to receive a response from our offer partners. And this has actually nothing to do with Freecash. That's the support of these different partners they have. So that can be frustrating, but that also explains, often I hear people, oh, I reached out to them, but I didn't hear back. Well, unfortunately, it can take quite a long time. It doesn't always do, but it can take some patience for sure. And as for Freecash, be aware that, as they also clearly say, you can not open a ticket about a specific offer until after 3 days. Again, that's because they want to make sure that these 72 hours have passed, so all the data can be passed, and then they can look at it if there's actually something going on. So the second bonus tip here is to always provide proof. Take screenshots of the steps you have completed. For example, if you installed an app, then show that it's on your phone and that you opened it. And if it's a survey, then screenshot the completion page. The more details you can give, the better your chances are of getting the missing rewards. And finally, keep your tone polite and professional. Remember that support teams are much more likely to help someone who explains the issue calmly with evidence compared to someone who just writes angrily that they didn't get paid and call them a scam and all kind of weird things. So doing these 3 things will massively increase your chances of getting missing rewards approved, and it will save you a lot of frustration in the long run. So to sum it up quickly, Freecash is legit and it does pay, but tracking issues are something that can happen on any get paid to site. The good news is that by following the steps that I've shown you, you can avoid most problems and get more of the rewards credited. And if you've had your own experiences with Freecash tracking issues, then please let me know in the comments, how did you deal with it and what were the results? That can also help other viewers here as well. So please feel free to comment below about that. And if you want to see my full Freecash review and tutorial where I also show payment proof, then I'll leave a link to that below. So you can find it both here on my YouTube channel and on my website. You can also find the video here on the screen next to me and just click that to watch that next. And finally, if the video helped you, make sure to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out next time I release a video with tips and tricks about different ways to make money online.